We got to 18-2. That's not an unreasonable thing. The only thing it does, Super Bowl Sunday ends up on a President's Day weekend, which is a 3-day weekend, which makes Sunday night, and then you have Monday off. Now, that part of it is genius. You know what the worst part about Super Bowl Sunday is? The reality that not only do you have to go to your job, whether you like it or not, but football season's over with. So he's kind of correct on that. Like, you have that day to kind of, sleep off that hangover a little bit. Realize that at that point, there is no more football. That a lot of football fans go into a deep depression because they realize the next day there is no football. At least you have that day to cushion the blow. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. How do we start off this show as we always do here on a Monday, Wednesday night? Anytime there's breaking news, bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, what else are we going to be talking about? How about Antoine Winfield Jr. with a new deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, first reported by Adam Schefter today. 4 years, $84.1 million deal. It's the first time in modern NFL history that a safety has set the mark. Also, the highest paid defensive back as a safety in NFL history. So 4 more years of Winfield Jr. Definitely want to talk to you guys. We'll have JC Allen of Sports Illustrated on with us, breaking down that deal at 9:30. We will have Evan L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. Yes, I shared the show to Rays sites because we're going to be talking to Rays right now. Top of the 7th, Tampa Bay up 4-3. They get in the first inning there, which is always a good thing to get off to a great start with Arozarena getting on base there with the base hit. Ahmad Rosario with a 2-run triple to make it 2-0. Richie Palacios, where was that yesterday? He gets a base hit. It's 3-0. Eflin in the same inning gives up a 3-run home run to Tyler O'Neill, his 10th of the year. And then the Rays go back on top there 4-3 with Jose Siri getting a sacrifice fly as Jose Cowboy himself with a hustle play goes to second there on a bloop single. Looks like it's a foul ball. Goes to second, then steals third, and then Siri once again showing signs of life at the plate. Guys, I hope you're showing signs of what's going on right now with your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and, of course, the Tampa Bay Rays, because the phone lines are open. We're ready for you. What is this? Is it a TV show? Is it a radio show? It's both. It's engagement. We have all kinds of comments. You can text in 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll go out to these comments here. Let's go out to the tribal troll.
Acknowledge me.
First, as always, acknowledge the tribal troll right there as we await JC Allen of Sports Illustrated. Thank you very much, Roger, for chiming in. As always, KR, Roger, no trolling, and Peter, evening, sir, and the gang. Congratulations to AWJ, the highest paid safety in the game. Go Bucs.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Go Bucs.
Let's
Go
go!
Bucs. Yeah. That's how excited you got to be if you're a Bucs fan with Winfield Jr. coming back into the fold, right? You already knew that it was going to basically happen with him, getting the 1-year franchise deal, but you kind of knew that Jason Light wanted to get some type of extension done, and that's exactly what he did. That's the sign of a great organization, signing your own players. Let's go out to the phone lines here. Stand by. Here we go. As I got a little bit dead air there, let's go out to Mr. Roger Shu, the Tribal Troll, leading it off here on a Monday night on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's going on, boss?
All right, Peter Blake. Shota Imanaga, Cubs pitcher, has now lowered his ERA to 0.97 for the season.
Great. That's how you're going to lead this show off with Cubs? Come on, man. You got to talk about this Tampa Bay Buccaneer new deal with Antoine Winfield Jr. You watched him play last year.
I don't even know who he is.
What are you talking about? He's the best safety in the game. What are you talking about? You've heard me talk about him ad nauseum. Look at what he did for this defense all of last year, being everywhere. Not only, being able to make open field tackles, but cover, be a coverage guy, playing nickelback 1 year, going back to his natural position of safety, causing fumbles.
Breaking news.
Yes.
Gunther just tapped out Kofi Kingston to advance in the King of the Ring tournament.
Thanks a lot for the wrestling breaking news. We talk about that on Wednesday night on Turnbuckle Talk at 10:20. Yes.
Fox Sports, they gave out their Super Bowl predictions, and it looks like they're picking the San Francisco 49ers against the Green Bay Packers. Or no, I'm sorry. I got it wrong. It was Kansas City against the Packers.
Oh, you're doing good tonight, man. You're doing really good.
Either one's going to go.
The San Francisco 49ers versus the Green Bay Packers. In the 90s, it was always the 49ers versus the Cowboys, and that was the real Super Bowl. But I understand where you're coming from. I don't know if Kansas
City versus Green Bay? No. Jordan Love is not a Super Bowl quarterback. Sorry.
I don't know. We'll see. It's a long season, but
young.
Kansas City is opening up versus the Baltimore Ravens. What do you think about that matchup? Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. Of course, the Chiefs trying to go for 3 in a row. We'll see if they can do that because it's never been done before.
Well, the Chicago Bears quarterback coach after rookie minicamp said Caleb Williams is light years ahead of what we've had and what we have now.
Right. Well, there you go. And I know you're a big-time Bears fan. We'll have the schedule reveal. Of course, it's coming out 8 o'clock. I think we'll get on about 8:30, 9 o'clock
seriously,
here. Yes.
I think Winfield earned every penny. He's probably one of the top 3 in the league, if not number 1.
Right.
But, yeah, I'm glad for him. He got paid. Good for him. He deserves it.
Yeah, he definitely deserves it, and I'm not surprised by it because, talking to Mr. Jason Light about this, I think eventually the Bucs are about to have a boat parade. They re-signed Antoine Winfield Jr. You're looking to re-sign Tristan Wirfs, and, according to Greg Allman of Fox Sports, the implications of that is they will lower the cap number to $7 million for Winfield Jr. this year, and they will save $10 million. Can I say it again? $10 million. Where they could sign their draft picks or possibly,
Have they signed Wirfs yet, or is he still coming?
They have not, but if they re-sign Wirfs, you heard my question a couple months ago in the Baker Mayfield press conference that if they get everybody re-signed, a boat parade is on the way. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to having that boat parade.
Will you be on the boat?
I hope I'm on the boat. I hope I'm doing the sports web on the boat, even though I'm not a boat person. You know this all too well, man. I got vertigo issues.
I know you're afraid of water.
Yeah, I get seasick, but I also have vertigo, so my equilibrium is off. Sometimes my
you
equilibrium.
You had vertigo like 10 years ago. You're fine.
I still have it. But to answer your question, if I'm invited on the boat, yes, I will be there, and yes, I will try to bring the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on the boat. On the boat, if we have, of course, if we have Wi-Fi out there. All right, what else?
That's pretty much it. How are the Rays doing? Are they still up?
4-3, bottom of the 7th right now. 2 outs. Kelly is in 2-0 here, getting in a little bit of trouble. Strike 1 right there. So we will keep you up to date on this situation.
Christopher Cole.
Yes.
Imanaga may have lowered his ERA, but the Cubs bullpen still sucks.
Uh-oh.
We're in first place. Where the Rays at?
Well, Christopher Cole is a Cubs fan, buddy. And the Rays are out of it right there, going to the 8th right now. Rays up 4-3 over the Boston Red Sox. So there you go. There's your update.
We have a few problems, but nothing compared to what the Rays are dealing with.
Well, I mean, again, they've had their own fair share of problems, but their bullpen has pitched better lately. Although, yesterday when the Rays get that grand slam from Siri and then they score another run and they make it 6-5, that's when Armstrong has to come in and, get a 1-2-3 inning to give the Rays offense an opportunity to maybe take the lead or win that game in the ninth inning, and the bullpen blows it. They give up a 3-run shot, and of course the Yankees go on to win 6-3 homestand by the Rays. They're certainly turning the corner. Of course, you had the Mets, you had the White Sox. That was an advantage. You had an opportunity to win both of those games versus the Yankees on Friday and Sunday, and you weren't able to do it. And that's why right now the Yankees are a better team than the Rays. So that doesn't necessarily mean the Rays won't get there.
Pete,
yes.
Just tell us about your experience at the Trop with your mom for Mother's Day on Friday night.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Any advice for Sternberg how to improve the quality of the product?
The chicken strips were not good. Next time we go with hot dogs, whether it's ketchup or not, we're going to definitely go with hot dogs over the chicken strips and fries. Way too much and not good enough. It was a great experience.
Well, they just try it out, or
I did try it out. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
No, I was asking, were the chicken strips dried out?
They just weren't
nasty?
good. They just weren't good, man. They just weren't good. They were not good. Yeah, I didn't like
tell
them.
Sternberg he's got to improve the food.
Yeah, I'm not going down that. We're not going down that road again, my friend. We're not doing that. We're not doing that on this show. I'm not going on a diatribe with Stu and everything else. We ain't doing that. We're just going to keep it strictly on the field. Yeah, absolutely. But the chicken strips, no. Next time, I'll definitely go for the hot dog. That's what I'll do.
But how are your seats? Yeah, good seats?
Good seats. And thanks a lot to Alex Nunster of the True Rays fan, Sky Ray. I believe it's Sky Rays now page on Facebook. Thanks a lot for getting us the tickets there. We really appreciate it. Yeah, it was awesome.
I'm looking at the chat right now, and I see... I'm right, saying every time I see you here, Roger Shue, I remember he was saying last year the Bears were going to be an elite team.
Well, he's right.
That was then.
He was right.
Now.
He was right about
now
that.
We are an elite team.
He does have receipts, does he? Does
Order
he not
your
have
Caleb Williams
receipts?
jersey.
Well, he does have receipts on
I'm
that.
right.
But he does have receipts on that, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Okay. He was right about that.
But
yeah.
Now we have Caleb Williams. Order your jersey, and I'm right.
All right.
Get on board the Bears train.
We'll see if that works out, my friend. All right?
All right, brother. I'll be watching. Have a great show, and we'll call back later.
Yeah, use that second call if you want to. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, update the Rays score right now. Rays up 4-3. Top of the eighth, 1-2 here on Josh Lowe. So we'll see how that works out. We'll continue to read the comments. Expecting J.C. Allen. I don't know where Joshua Cole Allen is of Sports Illustrated, but we'll wait for him. If he doesn't come on, we'll take your phone calls and your reaction tonight. And, of course, today, the breaking news of Antoine Winfield Jr. Getting a new deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who's next? Is it Tristan Wirfs? Again, somebody had a question out there. I believe it was Douglas Dodd who said, what, can you have a deal like this and going forward sign the rest of your players? And I think, that has been the whole point of conversation, right? I mean, every year we get into this conversation of who are they going to lose? It looks like double. He's in there safe. Josh Lowe, lead off double in the top of the eighth. So as I'm hosting right now, trying to come on and look at your comments, and I'm watching the game at the same time, but that's always a point of contention, right? Mike Evans is supposed to be gone. This player is supposed to be gone. Levante David is supposed to go to greener pastures, and somehow, some way, Jason Light figures it out. And of course, now with this big time contract to Winfield Jr., a lot of people saying, Chris Godwin could be on his last year because he has a high cap number. Just don't rule anything out. Let's just play this out, because every year we get into this conversation, and it's great for this show to talk about, but at the end of the day, nothing ever transpires. The Bucs are always able to sign their own players, and that is a sign of a great organization. And they did that today. They promised that to Winfield Jr., and they delivered to make him the top safety, not only the top safety in the league, paid, but also top defensive back in NFL history over corners out there for Antoine Winfield Jr. So great day for Bucs fans, a great day for Winfield Jr. And who could remember him being drafted in the second round in Minnesota and what he did his rookie year? He was a big part of it then. Who could forget, the 2 sign, the Tyreek Hill, after Hill scored 2 touchdowns in the regular season game where the Chiefs defeated the Bucs 27-24. How sweet was that, Bucs fans? And his game has gotten better and better and better. And no matter what the Bucs have asked him to do, whether it's to play nickelback, to play safety, to play this, to play that, safety, whatever they've asked him to do, he's been able to do it. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So thanks a lot for the comment there, KR. Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution after Antoine Winfield Jr. gets a new deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Your thoughts? Welcome.
Hey, Peter. It's KR. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, KR? How you doing, boss?
Had to call and just, be celebratory and give AWJ his flowers.
I mean,
very record-breaking deal.
Right. How happy are you that they get this deal done? And is it really a shock? Because we continue to come on this show on Monday and Wednesdays, or when there's breaking news, and there's fans out there, there's national media said the sky is falling. Jason Light and the organization and the administration is not going to be able to get this deal done. And somehow, some way, they continue to bring back people that matter to this organization. And Winfield Jr. absolutely deserved that contract today. Tristan Wirfs, when he gets re-signed, will absolutely deserve that contract. Levante David got a raise. Why? Because he was the best linebacker in this team. Baker Mayfield, they took a chance on him. He was productive. He earned all of his incentives. He got over $100 million contract. Mike Evans, who has been maybe the greatest
Mr. Buccaneer.
Mr. Buccaneer for throughout his whole career gets re-signed. So when everybody's saying, can they work this out? I would say absolutely. And why are you even thinking about that at the end of the day? Because Jason Light and this administration deserves your faith for what they've done the last 5 to 7 years with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization and beyond.
I completely agree. And I have to say to fans that are worried, we have to trust his GM and his staff. His staff is at least in the top 5 of staffs currently in the NFL. Jason Light has proven time after time that we can't, overshadow that. He may have his ups and his downs as a GM, but most of his times he's always hitting and he's making the right, strategical moves. And I think just with him signing AWJ, it's just another move showing that he's committed to this team. He's committed to showing this franchise that, look, we're going to sign all the guys that we need to make this a championship contender. And this is just another money move that is great. And I honestly think that this move is not going to hurt the team in the long run, because we need those playmakers. And AWJ showed you last year why he's a first-team All-Pro and definitely, should have been a Pro Bowler last year. The guy showed every bit of his worth on the field. His dad played 15 years in the league, and look at him now. His son is just, going above and beyond. And it's just, I'm excited. I'm amazed of what they did with the money for AWJ, but he deserved every penny. Yeah, sorry. I know fans are going to be like, oh, he's grossly overpaid. Look at Jared Goff today. He just got grossly overpaid for the Lions. And I'm like, come on. Let's be real here,
I look at it this way. If somebody's willing, look, KR, if I'm willing to pay you $21 million because you're such a great caller and you always support this show, you take it. Why? Because I'm willing to pay that. That's what you're worth.
Yes.
Enough of, I don't think he's worth it. Look, the team thought he was worth it. All right. They thought he was worth it so much. They didn't overpay him. They paid him higher than Jair Alexander, who's making $21 million, who's a corner for the Packers. You got Denzel Ward for the Cleveland Browns, $20 million. Jalen Ramsey, $20 million. Marlon Humphrey, $19.5 million. This is a safety, but he didn't act like a safety last year. He was all over the place, whether it's
he's
coverage.
A ball hawk.
Yes, he was definitely a big-time MVP for this defensive football team, and they needed him.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree.
Right, exactly. So, again, about the overpaying stuff like Jared Goff, is he getting paid a lot of money? Yeah, he's right under Joe Burrow, but The Lions think of him as being a valuable quarterback that solidified that position. Think about this.
Yeah.
Jared Goff was traded for Matt Stafford and left for dead, and Stafford wins the Super Bowl, and everybody's like, what a terrible trade. And now Jared Goff, 30 touchdowns last year, 12 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
He deserves that money. The Lions thought he deserved that money, so they paid him.
Yeah.
Is it a great deal? We'll see. But the Lions as an organization thought he was worth it.
I'm going to say I would be like, let's see what happens. He got paid his money. Let's see if they can continue this. Now, if the Lions fall in their face and they fail, and if part of it is Goff's fault, hey, I'm going to be like, look, we saw the signs early enough as it is. He did regress that last year for the Rams before he got traded over to the Lions. He regressed completely. So,
the guy's making lots of money, and what the talk's going to be now. When is Dak Prescott going to get his extension? I mean, people go, I can't believe Antoine Winfield got that much money. That is the market. That's the market for quarterbacks. That's the market for safeties. That is the market for special guys like Winfield Jr. And he's definitely not only special for this team, but and if NFL teams haven't realized it, general managers and players alike, because they didn't vote him to the Pro Bowl, you guys better pay attention. And I'll say this. What does it say for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to give him a history-breaking contract? A defensive back who's a safety, highest paid defensive back in NFL history. I tell you what it says. It says that he is top upper echelon. Now,
correct.
In the same breath, what does it say for Devin White when he can only get $4.5 million? It tells you what NFL teams alike view him, how they view him. They view White as a guy that was not good last year, whether it was injury or effort. They only were willing to pay him $4.5 million. Can you imagine if Winfield Jr., and this is a nightmare situation, KR, and I'll let you go after this because we're getting out to JC Allen of Sports Illustrated. But how about a nightmare?
Tell JC I said hello.
KR, use that second call. But I will say this. What if he gets out in a free agency? How much is he worth? Does he get over $20 million? He most likely could get over $20 million because there may be a bad team out there overpaying. That tells you the value of Winfield Jr., not only to this team, but most likely to every NFL team in the league. The market was set. The Bucs promised him that big-time contract. And as always, Jason Light and administration, they deliver, my friend. Final thoughts here, KR, and use that second call. What else do you have to say?
Kudos to Jason Light, Mike Greenberg, and the rest of that staff. That staff is at the top tier. And that's why that shows that the assistant GM was going to also may have been plugged for a future GM job. So I hope the Bucs can do their due diligence and try to keep this staff intact because they're just making great moves. And I'm looking forward to the season.
Great call, my friend. As always, use that second call if you like to, KR, all right?
All right, buddy. Take care. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go Bucs. And I tell you right now, let's get out to this guy right here who he started out in 2020. I think it's his 4-year anniversary this year. And when we talk about it and we laugh and cut up because he was just a fan at the time. Look at him now. He's at Pewter Report. He's at press conferences. He's covering Super Bowls. He's all over the place. I'm proud that he started out here in the sports web. I will continue to promote this man anytime I get the opportunity on the evolution of sports talk television. Let's go out to Mr. JC Allen of Sports Illustrated. Happy anniversary, my friend. Has it been 4 years?
It has. This is season number 5 for me.
Jeez. Time flies.
Oh, it does, man.
I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't know what to expect out of you, but here's what I knew that a lot of people know now. And one of your colleagues, I'm trying to think of who it was the other night that used to be with Pewter Report that said it best. Here's a man that's so determined, that never had experience in the business, but makes all these relationships and does this and does what it takes. You are a perfect fit for the sports web. And the reason why you're so successful now is because of you, because you are so determined in what you do. You wanted to do this that first night, that first week on the draft, and it's just continued on. And I'm going to use my word. You have evolved. I'm so proud of you, my friend. Now, welcome to the evolution. With that being said, Antoine Winfield Jr. Gets a new deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Your thoughts? Welcome to the Sports Web.
First off, appreciate it. I can honestly say I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you in the sports web. I just started off as a guy looking for information on Tom Brady going to the Bucs. And unfortunately, the Tampa Bay area didn't feel like it was enough to cover. And there was one place for me to find, and that was a sports web that was down to talk about it. I called in as a Patriots fan, as much as many of you know, gave my take on Tom. 2 weeks later, Gronk was here, gave my take on Gronk. Before you knew it, we did the fan mock draft. I represented the Patriots, and I was a regular. Offered a writing position by bad word BR. Signed on with them. Did that stint for a little bit. John Ledyard, who you referenced, recruited me over to Peter Report 2 years there. Now in my second year with Sports Illustrated, and it starts here. It all starts here. So I appreciate the kind words as always, and it's not over. Grind keeps going. Keep trying to get bigger and better, and my goal is to give, as always, Bucs fans the best coverage I can, non-biased coverage that I can, and I feel like I do a pretty good job of that. So if you're not tuned in to me, definitely check me out over at Twitter and all my. You can find all my work over there. But this was one of the last dominoes to fall. Right, there's still one large domino, very large.
Yes,
as a matter of fact, domino to fall over, but. We got an update from Jason Light on the Pat McAfee show a couple weeks ago saying that he wanted to have this done. He thought it was close to being done and wanted to have it done before his vacation. I think now the next domino is that big one, Tristan Wirfs, to have that done by the vacation, so he doesn't have to worry about anything and maybe have a boat parade when he comes back. But it always made sense in the world that Antoine Winfield wasn't going anywhere. First of all, the Bucs needed to open up some cap space, and you didn't want to restructure anyone. They weren't going to touch Chris Godwin's contract. They didn't really want to touch Vita Vea's contract, etc. So opening up cap space was the best way to do it, was to reward probably your best secondary player in the history, and that's saying a lot because John Lynch and Rondé Barber were there. But if he keeps up this trajectory, he could be first ballot Hall of Fame or something that Rondé and John Lynch can't say. But Antoine Winfield Jr. signs the largest deal for a defensive back, and not just a safety or cornerback, but a defensive back ever in NFL history. And it's well worth it. This guy defends every blade of grass. We saw that multiple times, chasing down, knocking out that fumble. He can do it in so many different ways, whether that's coming in on blitzes or that's, defending the back half of the field and creating turnovers that way, forced fumbles, tackles for losses. You name it, Antoine Winfield can do it. He finished second on the team in tackles at the safety position, which is kind of unheard of. Usually you have to have a really, really bad front seven, and that's not what the Bucs had, but he just flies around the field, and certainly deserving of it. I think when you look at the contract too, it's no fluff. It's 21.5 or 0.05 or whatever it is, $1 million a year. There's no up to, and he deserves every penny of it. He's in his prime, locks him up for 4 years, just wipes out that franchise tag. It's not an extension on that. So kudos to Jason Light. Kudos to Antoine Winfield's agent. And this was something that was bound to get done. And now that it's done, I think Bucs fans can rest a little easy.
Yeah, I think Bucs fans can rest a little easy, and I'm not surprised by it. But, you look at the cap maneuvering here, and this is what Jason Light and the administration always do great. It lowers the value down to $7 million this year, and it also saves them $10 million. So is the next big domino that you talked about, Tristan Wirfs, to be re-signed here or to an extension? Or is it, to sign their own draft picks here? When does that get done? Because, of course, I'm the guy that asked the question to Jason Light. Once you get all this done, boat parade, right? So
right.
Parade incoming here in the next couple of weeks. I mean, what do you say?
I would think that, they want to get it done. I know, just kind of whispers from Tristan's camp is they're ready. They've had a deal on the table. They're making progress on a deal. So I'd expect that to be done. With the draft pick, with the cap space, it opens about $10 million in cap space. They've already signed 3 of their draft picks, but really the draft picks, the rookie pool is about $7 million, but against the cap, it's only going to count 2.6. So this opens up about, $7 million for them in operating costs or whatever. They'll also get an extra 1.2, I think, from Ryan Jensen post June 1 after they file his retirement paperwork. And then same thing with Shaq Barrett, who was released designated as a post June 1 cut. They'll get about $5 million in cap space there. So, they'll be sitting pretty with about, $13 million in cap space. Actually extending Tristan Wirf's deal, he's set to make $18 million, will actually give them more cap space and flexibility too. Now, don't expect them to go out and sign a bunch of guys. There's really not much left out on the free agent market anyways, and I think they're really comfortable where their roster is right now as it is anyways. Kind of let that play out. You look maybe, as we go into training camp, they look at potentially inside linebacker. What it gives them the opportunity, if they feel like they need to make a trade for a player or at any point, if there's someone comes available, they'll have cap space to fit them in. But I think it's just more for operating costs during the season. Obviously, over the last couple of years, we've seen they need to make signings in season due to injuries. And also, they got to pay for the practice squad, etc. And, you'll be able to carry that money over into next year too. So I don't expect them to go out on a spending frenzy. Mm-hmm. But I do expect that next piece of the puzzle to get ready for that boat parade to be Tristan Wirfs. And now that they've got Antoine Winfield locked up, because he was priority number 1 over Wirfs. And I know you're like, well, Wirfs is Wirfs, but right. They only had until July 15th, I think 14th, somewhere around there, to sign him to a deal before he had to play that year on the franchise tag. So Tristan Wirfs is on that 5th-year option. So they have all season, to get a deal done at any point. So I think focus now shifts over to him, get him locked up, boat parade, vacation, and can just, sit back and sit pretty without having to worry about any contract negotiations with anybody.
And I see Evan L. Bushman in there in the green room, and we'll get out to you in a moment here. We're talking with J.C. Allen of Sports Illustrated. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Update the score right now. 5-3, Tampa Bay over J.C., your Boston Red Sox. Which right now, that's great news for Rays fans. That's how you start off a road trip there with the Boston Red Sox for 4, and then you have the struggling Toronto Blue Jays. With that being said, you are out there for rookie minicamp. Just give me your initial thoughts on the draft overall and Graham Barton.
Yeah, I thought the draft was a home run. I mean, you look at what the Bucs have done over the last few years, continue it in this draft, right? Character guys, football is their main priority. It's their passion, eat, sleep, breathe football. And I think that continued over to this year's draft. When you look at Graham Barton, he's a guy who has tremendous athleticism, played left tackle at Duke, but only because he's the most athletic lineman they have. His rookie year, he played freshman year, rather, he played center for them and did pretty well. He's going to start there over rookie minicamp. That's where he got all of his snaps, and you can just see that athleticism shine, that quick twitch ability. Really took over as a leader there, leading the offensive line, but also breaking down. And once they're done warming up and they go to individuals, breaking that down and breaking it down at the end of the practice. So when you look at Graham Barton, I think they've got themselves, whether he plays center this year or guard, they want him to play center, but again, they're going to go with the best 5. John Spytek talked about it after the draft, saying, we think he can play guard. We want him to play center. If the best 5, and if that includes Hainsey at center and him at guard, they'll be in a comfortable situation there. But took all of his reps at center, looked really clean, really fluid, athleticism off the charts, quick get off the line. He's going to be a really good player for the Bucs for years to come.
And I think the most impressive thing with him is he didn't care about his graduation. He skipped his graduation ceremony and said, you know what, I'm here because
Jerry Seinfeld.
Right. I'm committed. I'm committed to this, and I'm committed to make this happen. Some other things here. Bucky Irving, I heard a lot about him. He can make people miss. I go back to my good buddy of the show here, TJ Reeves, a clone of work done 25 years later. And, maybe the Bucs kind of think of him being, hopefully he's work done. Hopefully he can definitely help out a White there in the backfield. But talk about Bucky a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, all the things that we read about were on display, right? Quickness, suddenness, accelerates, gets to his top speed really fast. You saw that. Again, they're not in pads, so they're just, running shorts and T-shirts. But you could see, too, the decisiveness of him and his vision. When a running lane opened up, he hit it with, quickness and urgency and got up to his top speed quickly. That ability to make defenders miss on a couple of his runs. They're just tagging each other down right now. But, just the ability to, do a quick little jump cut, change the direction, and make that first guy miss and get tagged down by the second guy. So all that was on display from Bucky. I think he's going to have a big impact this year as a rotational guy. I don't think he's going to supplant White as a starter, but certainly have a big impact on this team this year.
What other thing, because I know you got to run here, and I don't want to, let Bushman there wait into the green room. We got to definitely talk some Rays baseball, but give me some final thoughts on the camp itself and the draft itself.
Yeah, I'll jump through, the rest of the draft picks really quick. Chris Braswell, you look at him, he looks the part. He's big, he's strong. You could definitely see the speed to power quickly. How he translates it quickly. He had, was lining up on both the left and right side of the line of scrimmage, as that edge rusher. Had 2 would-be sacks in, back-to-back days. So they're not really counting that. But if, he got into the backfield, penetrated very well. You move on to Tyke Smith. First day of practice, came down with an interception, tipped the ball to himself. He's a guy who's known for playmaking abilities at Georgia. And it looks like, those are going to continue right in the NFL. Played mostly at nickel, but some strong safety too. So they'll be able to utilize him all around the field. They're cross-training him at both positions. So he's going to compete for that starting nickel position. That's where he made the interception from. So again, another guy who's super smart. You can just see, with one day of install, kind of just getting it, reading, being able to read the quarterback's eyes, being in the right spot, right place, right time. Jalen McMillan's going to be a superstar. I really think he's going to, he's not going to be like a number one top flight guy ever, but I think for this offense, for what they need, he's going to be great. Watching him, he's so fluid in and out of his breaks, very natural route runner and pass catcher. He had a really nice pass, coming across the field on the right hash, just high pointing the ball over defenders. Everything he does just looks so fluid and smooth. So he's going to be a nice contributor. I think, he'll probably win that outside wide receiver, that Z position, but can certainly move in the slot. You put him in motion, give him a free release, he's going to hurt you. Talking about free releases, Devin Culp, the 7th round draft pick, there was a play or two that he got a free release on a linebacker mismatched and, took across the field. He was all by himself on a crosser route, just easy catch. Same thing with another one down the seam. We obviously, it's a tight end, so we need to see what he looks like blocking. We didn't get to see that. Obviously in mini camp, but generally he's a good pass protector, especially on screens, getting out in space. They'll be able to utilize him in line at the F position, outside in the slot. So he'll bring a lot of dynamicism to the offense, but he's still got to win a spot, right? He's going to go up against Keith. And if he could show he's, a good blocker as well as a receiver, could be a tough battle for Keith to stay on the roster. And then finally, you look at a guy like Elijah Klein, the guard they took in the 6th round out of UTEP. He just looks the part. He's big, very, wide, broad-shouldered, barrel-chested guy, nasty demeanor. One thing that really surprised me was, he was at right guard, but he's quicker off the snap than I thought. Keeping right up with Barton when he came off the snap. I think he's got a real shot to compete for the open guard spot, whether that's at left guard or right guard. If they move Cody Mock over to the left side, he played right guard in college, so I think he's got an opportunity to compete with a Sue Opita and a Ben Bredesen and maybe a Robert Hainsey for that, starting guard position. So, then you look at a guy like Judge Culpepper. Obviously Florida legacy. He was wreaked havoc in the backfield. Both days he had, would-be sacks on the day. Just the second day in the second period of 11-on-11s, he just lived in the backfield. So he's a guy, I think, depending on roster construction, that they could be the 6th defensive lineman on the team. Ramon Jefferson, who they signed as a tryout player, he got a lot of work in. You could tell just the familiarity with Liam Cohen's offense. I think he'll be a guy who surprised. Also played with Zion McCullum at Sam Houston State in 2001 when they won the title, the national championship there. And he's a guy I talked to Zion. He's really excited about, and just as a teammate, as a player, kind of underrated. Came off of an ACL tear that really kind of lingered into last season. He didn't get a lot of run there, but you can see the talents there. He's been in college since 2017, so he's very tenured, but doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on his tires. So Tariq Funderburk, cornerback they signed as an undrafted guy, Chris McDonald, both of those guys had some really nice plays. I think they'll show up. So I think all in all, the Bucs, they're not going to have as many undrafted guys make the team this year. I think they'll have a bunch of them on the practice squad. But if you look at the draft itself, I think you're going to have starters by the end of the season. I think you'll see starters at center with Barton, edge at Braswell, nickel at Tyke Smith, and then also number 3 wide receiver at Jalen McMillan. Potentially, Elijah Klein if he can win that spot. So if you look back at what the Bucs have done and what they prioritized over the last 3 drafts, and look at the starters they've produced over those last 3 drafts, this is another draft you can see at least 4, maybe 5 starters come out of it. So another great draft by Jason Light and the Bucs, and I think they still have to get the game changer. I don't think they've found one of those yet because they're kind of playing it safe a little bit with these guys with great character and stuff like football, and just being in that high spot. I think Elijah Cansey is probably the closest thing to it, but I think still the way they're building this roster with youth and depth and building from within, they're doing a really good job.
They are, and you do a great job, Mr. J.C. Allen of Sports Illustrated. Go ahead and promote yourself as we get out to Mr. Evan L. Bushman here of the Rays Rewind podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to L. Bushman. He's a Sick Podcast member, as I am myself. So you can check out my Sick Podcast over at Pirate Parlay. I'm going to have I had Devin Culp on last week. I'm trying to get another draft pick on or maybe a current player on this week. So stay tuned for that. That will be tomorrow, Wednesday at some point. We'll go live. We'll announce it. Keep up with all my work over at Sports Illustrated's Bucs Game Day, the only website for Sports Illustrated, exclusively for Bucs content. We've got so much stuff out. Check out our YouTube channel. Our Hear the Cannons is our podcast. So we'll have that up and rocking. And then you can find my stuff at JC Allen NFL on Twitter, X, whatever you call it. It's literally your one-stop shop for all Bucs stuff, whether it's my content, my thoughts, whether it's things that, PFF, the Bucs, whatever. Well, if it's about the Bucs, you're going to find it on my page. So check that out as well. And as always, I appreciate you having me on, man.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, JC. Appreciate the time here on The Evolution, my friend. All right?
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, let's go for another 4 years there. Let's go out to Mr. Evan L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. Again, update the score. Top of the 9th, Rays winning 5-3. Let's get out to it. And I tell you right now, I want to go out to this because, a lot like the offensive linemen of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with their versatility, I like my host to also have versatility. Give me your thoughts on Antoine Winfield Jr. and that big-time new deal today for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Welcome to the Evolution.
It was a great signing, man, and just goes to show you that the salary cap doesn't exist. I'm just saying. I mean, that there's money coming out of nowhere that the Bucs had to throw at the guys that the cornerstones, as they say, to get back in the fold. So yeah, I thought it was great signing, like monstrous contract, by the way. Great. Checked up all the boxes.
You have any concerns about, because this is the first thing I heard with the fans, and again, I reported this from Greg Allman, reported this from Fox Sports. It lowers the cap number down for Winfield Jr. the $7 million. You save $10 million, so automatically people say, well, okay, then you can re-sign a Tristan Wirfs to a new deal. You can get your draft picks, and oh, by the way, you're going to lose Chris Godwin because you drafted McMillan in the 3rd round. And it's like, aren't we done with this? Like, fans, aren't we done with saying Jason Light's not going to be able to sign his own if you're worth it? And I think Chris Godwin is a big part of this offense going forward, no matter who they draft. Why do we always continue to go? Why do fans on social media always continue to say, well, there you go, you're going to lose somebody now. You can't pay everybody. And Jason Light and the organization have shown throughout the last 5 years, you can pay everybody if you want to.
Don't you know that everybody on X is an expert, Peter? Don't you know that by now?
I thought so. Yeah, that's crazy.
Look,
too. Yeah.
Look, if they can make the moves that they did with the and I put this in quotation, salary cap that they had to work with, like they're going to make it work and they're going to sign the guys that they want to bring back. In my opinion, to be honest with you, I don't see Chris Godwin, going to be around much longer, to be honest with you. I think, with his injury history, and just and maybe it was because of the way Canales structured his offense last year, there wasn't really a lot of focus on Godwin. And of course, they went to the draft and they drafted another, younger wide receiver. So, and plus Godwin's, brings a lot to the cap when it comes to making some money. So I just don't see him around much longer being a Buccaneer because of the way they went into the draft and assessed needs and the type of money he's making too, and the type of production he didn't really have last year. So look, they'll make whatever happens. I've got faith in Jason Light and his salary cap guru that's, either taking mob money or, making money at the track or placing bets or whatever. But like I've said this on my previous shows that were football centric, that the salary cap is a myth. And if teams, are going to sign the guys that they want to bring back, they're going to do it and find, whatever way possible to scrounge up the pennies and nickels to throw them the millions of dollars that they deserve. So, if they're going to bring back Wirfs, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So I got faith, man. All these people on social media that want to be negative Nellies, they just nitpick at stupid stuff just to get for retweets and likes and stuff like that. So,
there you go. All right, L. Bushman, Evan L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast, talking football here on the Evolution. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Update on the score right now. Bottom of the ninth, Rays up 5-3. Jason Adam, looks like strike two. Did he strike him out? He struck him out. I don't know where that pitch was, but I'm glad the batter decided to swing at it. Give me your confidence level on this Rays team. You dropped 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. You could have won Friday night's game there. A bogus strike call. And then, yesterday you get the big home run, the big grand slam from Siri. You get the other run there, but you let him off the hook, and then your bullpen gives it up there. So how much confidence do you have in this Rays team after that 6-3 homestand? And of course, what they're doing tonight to the Red Sox?
That's a great question, Peter, because I think before we went to the Yankee series, we were all kind of like, hey, if they take 2 out of the 3, then they might have taken a step in the right direction to turn that page. What I got from the Yankee series was it was a winnable series. Mm-hmm. Especially with like the miscues and the balls and strikes, and then on Sunday's game where they were a couple runs behind after that grand slam, and then obviously what you said, the bullpen giving it away. It's the bullpen woes coughing up games to where they could have you never know, they could have swept the Yankees.
Yeah,
because of just. And plus, look, on the Friday night's game, you got to hit, man. You got to score runs, and when you're only down 1-0 going into the later innings, you got to score runs, man. And that's something that's been kind of been hindering them the past month and a half or so, is scoring runs. I mean, they scored 7 runs on Saturday, and that's the team that we should have thought came in on Friday, after that loss against the White Sox coming into the Yankee series, which I saw a lot of the posts on X and Twitter about, the Yankees fans took over the Trop. Listen, I bet you 90% of those people that went to the Trop that had Yankees gear on are probably Rays fans. And when the Yankees come to town, they put their Yankee gear on. And when they leave, the Rays gear comes back on. So
here's how ridiculous this was, because I take my mom the other night. She's a big-time baseball fan for Mother's Day. We got a chance to spend some time together at the old ballpark. That's a great thing. Thanks again to Alex Nunster there, a True Rays fan club page there on, of course, Meta, Facebook, whatever you want to call it. But we get out there and you see a fan and he's got a Yankee jersey on, but he's got a Rays hat.
Yeah.
And the other guy's behind me, he's calling him an idiot. And I'm trying to be, polite about this because we're sitting right in, and the Yankee fans are sitting, right in front of us. And I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Like, there's a guy there's a Yankee fan, but he has a Randy Johnson jersey on from Arizona. I'm like, what? So like, what is going on? And
Peter, I'm old now. I'm too old to even argue about like this whole the Yankees and Red Sox fans take over our stadium. Look, man, like we have people that moved here from the up north and they're down here now, and they're gonna be here. And when their teams come to town, they're gonna support them, and that's just the way it is. Well, I'm over trying to explain everything to everybody anymore.
Well, here's an update right here. Tampa Bay Rays win 5-3 over the Boston Red Sox. Jason Adam just throwing eepuses and fluttering pitches and guys just swinging at absolutely nothing. Good job by Adam. Good job by the Rays overall. Some hustle plays tonight. You saw Jose Siri. We talked about him having a big sacrifice fly. A lot of fans giving up on him. Do you think the Rays are ready to give up on him? He's seen some flashes here. Still, when he swings the bat, he did it tonight. He's sitting there watching like he's Barry Bonds. Like, please, maybe run because you never know. The outfielder may drop the ball. I know it seems simplistic here, Bush, but come on, you just never know. You got to use your speed instead of trying to park everything all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We've seen the flashes, but is it going to be enough? And he's been playing more than DeLuca has the past couple of days too. So I don't know if Cash is giving him maybe a second chance. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. It's I think coming into the series, especially against another AL East opponent, you want to come out with a first game series win, which they did tonight against the Rays, and the flash. Look, to me, this team is going to be streaky and it's going to be up and down all season until they can really find their footing, especially with all the guys with turning the page. This is good. This is a good bounce back win for them coming in the Fenway and beating the Red Sox for game one. That's good.
Yep.
I mean, because you want to gain ground on the Red Sox, who are currently in third place right now. So you're only separated by them by one game. So if you take, 2 out of the 3 or you sweep the Red Sox and you're kind of right back now into the thick of everything. And then you go on and play the Blue Jays, who are in last place right now. So get on another win streak. Get on another win streak before you did headed into last week before they lost that last game against the White Sox. So with this team, I don't know, man. It's just the identity it's starting to be there with everybody. I still think they should just wear the City Connects all the time because it just seems like when they're not wearing and they lose. So
yeah, right.
Just look, wear them. I mean, they look good. I mean, I bought a hoodie now. I got a hoodie. I mean, last time I was on the show, I had the jersey and I bought a hoodie over the weekend. So
nice.
I think with all these guys, Rosario had a good game too. I mean, 3 RBIs, knocked in a few runs. It's the guys that you want to see produce that need to produce. And now you've got more guys coming up now. Although I think Brandon Lau had a setback today in his rehab appearance. They said he left the game. They don't know what it is yet, but he said he felt some tightness, so we don't know about him. Honestly,
is it time to move on from him? I know we're moving on from guys, but it's just like
it's not
Bush. Like he can hit. He can definitely hit home runs, but he's a streaky hitter. He strikes out a lot. And then on top of it, which is the worst thing,
injuries.
He's like Carlton. He's like the Bucs, Carlton Davis, supremely talented, but can't stay on the field. Is it time maybe for the Rays to look there with Caminero or Isaac, somebody like that? Is it time to look in that direction? Somebody else on this roster?
It kind of depends on what you're going to do at second base. I mean, they brought up Curtis Mead. Now Curtis Mead's back down in the minors, and they, you've got some pieces there that you can put in there. Rosario's playing second too as well. With Lau, it's just like, okay, bring him up. How's he going to do? And with me is you're paying in millions. He's one of the guys who's playing he's getting paid a lot of money on the team right now that you haven't had a full season out of him since his year hitting all those home runs. Is it time to move on? Maybe so, but I don't think the Rays are going to do it anytime soon because of the way the lineup isn't consistent enough to score runs. They need all the hitters they can get. But that's just kind of dependent on, and how is Lau going to be when he comes back? Is he going to be strikeout? Is he going to be Carlos Pena 2.0, or he's just going to be striking out all the time and maybe hitting a couple dingers here and there? Ew, Roger, don't say that. That's gross. Bring back Franco.
What was he saying? What is he saying?
Bring back Franco. That's gross.
Yeah, Roger, you got to stop doing that, man. Seriously.
This guy.
I told him.
Peter, I don't know. I mean, it's for me as a fan that's kind of like, what have you done for me lately? I think maybe this could be his last year as a Ray. I don't think they're going to make any moves like trading wise. I know a lot of people are saying like the Rays could be sellers at the deadline because of the way they're playing, and they might not be in the thick of it. I don't see that just yet. I think they're still in the thick of everything. They just got to get the consistency from the guys that should be consistent, and it hasn't really been there yet. Yandy Diaz is starting to kind of heat up a little bit. But it's just Randy Arozarena, who's we're all kind of hoping to get on a roll, but it's just not there. And I think with the room that they have, which is so tight because now they've got guys coming back, is okay, who are we sending down? Who are we going to DFA? Who are we going to trade? It's like those are good problems to have, but you got to make those tough decisions. And I know everybody's clamoring for Junior Caminero to come up. It is okay, but who are you trading? Who are you DFAing? Who's the odd man out? Because now you got to make a decision of, are we putting Caminero at third? Okay, what are you going to do with Isak? Are you going to move him to just a primary DH? Are you going to move him somewhere else? Are you going to trade him? Are you going to DFA him? You can't. Obviously, they wouldn't DFA him. They probably trade him and get some, something out of it. But those are tough decisions to make, and those are tough decisions that it is kind of good to have. But the Rays are smart enough not to know, like, hey, we're not going to bring up Caminero just yet. There's plenty of time to do that. He's hitting the cover off the ball right now in AAA Durham, which is good. But when Bilal comes up, and you got Jonathan Aranda coming up too, so it's like chess pieces. Where do we put these guys? Who's going where? Who's going what? And I'm excited to have Brandon Lau back, but it's just like, what have you done for me lately?
Let's go out to the phone lines here. Alex, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Mr. Evan L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. After your Tampa Bay Rays defeat the Boston Red Sox tonight on the road, 5-3. Your thoughts? Welcome.
Looks like I joined at the right time, huh?
Yeah, you did, man. We're talking Antoine Winfield Jr. extension or new contract. Is it an extension? Is it re-sign? Like, I kind of go back. I guess it's a new deal here by the Bucs, of course, and then you got the Rays tonight beating the Red Sox. I know you want to talk Rays, and once again, man, I shouted you out before. Thanks a lot for the tickets. I appreciate it. My mom loved it. She loves it. Happy Mother's Day to her. Happy birthday to her at the same time.
Alex, where are my tickets? I'm a member of that group on Facebook. Where are my tickets?
Hey, man, let me know. Front row.
Love it.
Peters were last minute, but yeah, man, I'm a season ticket holder in front row. I give them out all the time, man. Inbox me, bro. I'll give you tickets anytime, man.
We need to all get together, like all have like a sports web, True Rays fan page. Get together, Rays Rewind podcast. Yes,
we are doing some great things. It has been a blessing in that group, man. It's really changed my personal life. You'd be surprised what a page does for you, but I am having such a great time with our amazing Rays friends and family and the community. And that's what it's all about. It's not about me. I preach that every day, but we are doing some great things. Came out with our new Sky Ray jerseys. We're going to be renaming our page name. Just something that me and the mods and admins wanted to do, just something different, our own thing. So we announced our new Sky Ray jersey just to go with the logo of the hat and the amazing thing they did with the City Connect jerseys. But for a second, let's not talk about the page. Let's talk about this Rays team. Tough loss yesterday with the Yankees, but you know what? I'm so proud of the boys for coming into Boston. Very important stretch here. You got the Red Sox and the Jays for the next 10 games, 7 games with the Red Sox, and you go right into Fenway Park and do what you needed to do. Hot shot and a hot start off for the offense. Good to see Randy and Yandy really coming around. Last time me and Evan talked on this show, they weren't doing so good, but really good to see Randy and Yandy come around. Josh Lowe got a hit today. I think most of the lineup got a hit today. Ahmad Rosario with another 3 RBIs. He got 2 hits on the day. Everybody's looking good. I was even happy for Siri yesterday. A lot of people aren't liking Siri right now, but I got to say about those people hating Siri, give Siri some time. I think, I'm a little in the mixed emotions with Siri because I don't like the attitude, but I do because I feel like, and I wouldn't mind if Evan chimed in on this comment.
Yeah.
I feel like that's today's game, the bat flips and
I'm okay. I'm okay with the pageantry that goes along. I'm okay with that. I mean, that's the game that it is nowadays. I mean, it's fine by me. I don't care. I mean, with Siri, it's an interesting thing with him is, is he going to be consistent? Like, I think the grand slam he hit over the weekend kind of saved his job a little bit. But it's just going forward. Like, how are you going to be playing? I mean, are you going to get that head, whatever was going on in your head done? Like, you're going to stop making errors in the outfield? Are you going to stop like trying to hit bombs all the time when you're up at bat? To me, I mean, going into the Yankee series, he was like the 5th outfielder because of the way Johnny DeLuca played. And to me, I said, I think I said this last week on your show, Peter. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rays, traded him or DFA'd him the next couple of weeks. So, I mean, he definitely saved his job over the weekend, but it's just like, okay, how long have you saved your job for? Because the way the outfield is, you're crowded enough to where you have guys that can be, platooned in there. But with Siri, it's like, okay, are you the fourth or fifth guy in our rotation for the outfield? Obviously, you played a little bit more the past couple of days, but like, how long is that going to be again until you get into that funk again? I like Siri. I think he's a great player, but it's just, I think they've got better guys in that outfield that could, produce better than he can right now.
And it's the effort too. It's the effort on defense, because you expect him, cover a lot of ground. Look who he's following. Maybe this is unfair, but he's following Kevin Kiermaier.
Yeah,
didn't commit a lot of errors there. And last year Siri was pretty good with that. And this year it has not been good. And I think it's not even athleticism, right? I mean, he has the speed. It's more of effort. It's more of he doesn't seem like there's times he gives a crap. I mean, maybe that's a little bit too harsh on my opinion, but that's what I see. And I think that's a lot of what Rays fans see, is they just see the lackadaisical effort, if that's fair.
I mean, we've seen this before in a former outfielder, in MBJ Upton, with his lack of energy,
right.
lack of effort on the field. So I mean, like I said, it's how much the Rays will want to keep him there if he's not going to be like, okay, I'm not going to put my full 110%. And like I said before, to me, if it were me and I'd have to choose between, hey, I'm going to keep Siri around, or I'm going to make DeLuca our primary guy in the outfield, I'm taking DeLuca all day, because it's just, I think his tools are better than Siri's, especially when it comes to fielding and hitting and speed wise. I think he's a faster guy than Siri. So to me, Siri's the odd man out in my eyes. And look, if he starts to get on like a streak and he starts to play better and hit the ball better, I mean, his average is terrible right now. It's 163. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rays they'll dangle a carrot and say, okay, what team needs a speedy, center fielder that can maybe give you a little bit of production? Because like I said before, they've got so many guys in the outfield now. It's like, okay, we've got good problems and we got bad problems. Who are we keeping, and who's going to stay in the outfield? And Siri, to me, is the odd man out. And
Alex, I want to steal your thunder here. They're showing it right now. Yandy Diaz, the first 31 games, 211 average now, 405, 6 extra base hits, 8 RBIs. I mean, over 1,000 on base percentage. That's going to get it done. That's old Yandy right there. That's Yandy. And
it's about time too.
As crazy as this sounds, guys, because they do have the prospects. Yandy Diaz is getting up there in age. I get it. He had a great year, but if he continued to struggle, then maybe you consider moving on from Diaz. As crazy as it sounds, maybe you trade him to a team.
No. I'd keep him.
I love Peter to death. I love this man to death. But the thoughts of getting rid of Yanni at the top of that lineup, I know that the beginning season struggled, and even what happened with Randy, seeing him struggle so hard. I told you guys, I told so many people, I promise you guys, just give it some time, give it a few weeks, give it a month. Month of May, guys will kick in. Yanni's hitting hot. He's lights out right now. He's hitting everything.
No, yes.
Randy's hit some bombs over the last few days. Guys are coming through. But I want to top off what Evan said about the center field position ordeal. A lot of people were pissed when we traded Tyler Glasnow, and rightfully so. And if everybody remembers, that's how we got DeLuca. Am I correct?
Yeah, you got DeLuca.
Yeah, he was in the trade with Pepio. Yep.
Yeah, Pepio.
And I saw his numbers, and I watched him, and I watched some video of what he did when he came over. Because I'm Peter. I know you don't know this, but I'm deep into the Rays like that. And so when a guy comes over, I'm watching video. I'm seeing what's.
I know you're deep into him. I know you're doing your scouting. I know you're trying to be a scout out there for the Rays. I get it.
They did that. I knew when they did that at the time. We all didn't predict that Glasnow was going to come in here and have a healthy year. Which hats off to Glasnow. I said this many times this year on the show. Hats off to him. I will never be mad at a guy that struggled with the team, even like KK. Let's be real. Maybe Tampa Bay wasn't home for Glasnow. Maybe he was something. Maybe there's a reason why he got hurt. Look at KK. KK went to Toronto. He plays great at Toronto. He found a home. Maybe that's the same with Glasnow. But regardless, is DeLuca, what a great pickup. Guy came in here hitting off. I think him and Jose We're going to be fighting a battle for that center field position. And if Jose keeps it up, I think you guys are right. He's gone by the deadline.
All right. Good stuff, Alex. Appreciate the call, man. Use that second call if you want to. Big time Rays fan. I love that. And of course, in case you didn't catch it here, Rays win tonight over the Boston Red Sox. 5-3.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, 3 more games, and then they face these.
That's right, brother. We keep going round and round like this in the cream of my coffee there, brother.
Love it, man. Damn, that was a good. That's pretty good, man. I gotta get that sound effect there. I gotta get that from you. So give me some final thoughts here. I want to take up your whole night, but I appreciate the time here on the Evolution. We're going to do this every Monday night, and I think you're going to be my Rays guy because I love what you do. I've always loved what you did here with sports caffeine there. Yeah, absolutely, man. You do a hell of a job, and I definitely want you to be a part of the sports web when it comes to the Rays. So give me some final thoughts here on, once again, the Rays beating the Red Sox and what the future could hold here this next couple weeks.
Yeah, final thoughts is, I think where the Rays are at, I think they're in a good spot because of the way they're getting guys back from injury and guys are starting to hit the ball again. Like I think Alex said, Yandy's starting to be old Yandy again. So, for everybody saying, oh, this isn't going to be a team that's going to compete in AL East, look, trust the process. I know we were all kind of, a little bit discouraged in the month of April about the way they were playing and everything. But as I said plenty of times on my show, the Rays Rewind podcast, which you can find us at the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind, not only on X, but also on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, which a new episode will be dropping pretty soon. Tomorrow night we record. So hit the notification bell and subscribe. Shameless plug. Just trust the process. I've said it many times. Like, look, I'd rather have this team be hot at the second half than in the first half. So if that's the way they want to be this year, I'm glad. But, the bats have got to keep being consistent and, the pitching's got to be there. So they'll find their ground, people. Don't worry. They'll find the ground. And Kevin Cash will be there to back them up. So don't give up.
Don't give up. Never give up here on the Evolution of Sports.
And buy the City Connects. They're awesome.
Yes, buy those. I gotta get me one of those. Evan, thanks a lot for your time. L. Bushman there of the Rays Rewind podcast. We'll see you next week, my friend. All right.
See you, man. Have a good one.
All right, good stuff there as your Tampa Bay Rays beat the Boston Red Sox. What do you think? Because you can call and talk about that, or you can call and talk about Antoine Winfield Jr. getting a contract, a new contract.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
So there you go. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to the comments because I have been neglecting the webheads tonight. And I don't want to do that because Facebook stars are open. YouTube super chats are open. So if you like the content, definitely give to it, donate to it. We appreciate you. Once again, we'll be back here on Wednesday night giving you the schedule reveal of who the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to play. Are they going to have some primetime games this year? More than 2? You've got Kansas City on that schedule, the San Francisco 49ers, the Baltimore Ravens, of course, the Falcons in your own division twice because they are so hyped up right now with Kirk Cousins, the hated Saints. The Panthers there with new coach Dave Canales. I mean, what's some of the matchups you're looking forward to seeing? Are the Bucs going to play overseas? We know who the first game of the season is going to be. It's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens, which is a rematch of the AFC championship game. So what do you think about that? Again, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So let's go out to the webheads here. I appreciate you as always. Let's go out to Roger really quick. Let's all hit thumbs up. Give Pete some super chats to keep this show going. If you're out there in Twitterverse or X, whatever the hell they call it now, retweet it out there. Get the show out there. If people don't know what this is, let them know what this is. Let them understand that the Tampa Bay sports fan is welcome on the sports web on Monday and Wednesday nights. And anytime we have breaking news, let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Hey, Peter, Jeremy. How's it going, brother?
What's going on, Jeremy? Doing well here, man. Antoine Winfield Jr., a new contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, of course, your Tampa Bay Rays defeat the Boston Red Sox tonight. How are you doing?
Static, man.
Ecstatic. You're ecstatic? You got to give me more energy here, Jeremy. We got to work on this. Do this all over again. Come on, man. Get fired up here.
Listen, I was more hyped because I was at work when I found out about Winfield Jr. getting the extension.
Right.
I was really blessing all my work friends, you know.
What do you do for work, by the way? What do you do?
I work at the hospital. I'm a PST over there.
Okay. That's great. That's a good job. Thanks a lot for doing that. I know that, a lot of people out there don't necessarily do that job. That's a great job to help people out. I do sales, and my phone was dead, and I turned it on. I turned on and it broke the news, and, I didn't. Hold on a sec, Jeremy. Ed, we're gonna finish up with Jeremy, and then we'll come back out to you. All right, stand by because I know you have something to say here. Let me go back to Jeremy here. My phone was dead. And, the signal there is in Tampa, so there basically is no signal where I'm at. So I turn on my phone and I see the breaking news, and everybody's like, you didn't get the breaking news? And I'm like, I can't. I gotta focus on Esther and Winifred. We talk about that, and of course, there's no signal out there. So when I heard the news, I wasn't surprised by it, but I think what I was really surprised by is the NFL history as a defensive back. He's the highest paid defensive back as a safety. Not a corner, a safety. That's how much he means to that Todd Bowles defense in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, let me ask you this, Peter.
Yeah.
It's been, kind of like surrounding my head all day.
Sure.
Because obviously Tristan Wirfs is Nets. He's the Nets one in line to get the big extension. It's going to happen. Whether it's going to be now or around training camp, in light we trust. Have you ever seen a team with two of the highest players of their positions on the same team?
I mean, I've seen the Bucs do it with their wide receivers with $20 million. So I know where you're going with this, and I definitely understand the somewhat concern, if you will, of Godwin's contract coming up. And of course, you have McMillan. You draft him in the third round out of Washington. There could be some big time expectations. A lot of people assume he could be taking over for Godwin, but I'm not ready to shut the door or turn the page on Godwin. I want to see him play his natural position in the slot. And if he's able to be productive again, I can't see him getting out of Tampa. I think eventually, of course, Mike Evans will hang it up. And that's where you look with McMillan and, of course, Godwin and, of course, Palmer. That's where you go to. But to answer your question, you don't see it a lot, right? So the Chargers, they have two $20 million wide receivers. Not for long, my friend. That's what the NFL means. They both get, one gets traded, the other one gets cut to free it up. So what the Buccaneers are doing right now with this roster and being so creative is amazing. It's amazing work by Jason Light. How long can it last? I don't know. I'm not Miss Cleo here. I'm not a fortune teller. I just don't rule Jason Light and that administration out. They know what they're doing. I let them go to work. I let them do their business, and I just have faith in it. Can you pay everybody? The Bucs have shown the last 5 to 7 years, the people that you want to pay, you can find a way to do it. And they've been able to do it. So, I'm not going to sit there and say they're going to lose some people or something like that. They've lost players, but they didn't mean a lot to this team. So I know where you're going with it. Is that where you're going with Chris Godwin?
No, I was just saying in general, think about it. You got Antoine Winfield Jr., who's the highest paid DB, because he's the highest paid DB in the league. And then you pay Tristan Wirfs, who's going to be the highest paid left tackle, who's going to reset the market at left tackle. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm not saying Godwin's out. Trust me. I trust the process. One thing you got to love about this team, like I told you many times, we don't have divas. We don't have nobody complaining about money.
Sure.
They want to get together and they want to play to win a championship. And that's why when it comes to Baker Mayfield, and a couple of coworkers of mine kind of like saying, oh, he's going to keep us in contention to compete, but can he win a championship? And I'm like, why not? We got the tools that been there before, that know how to win a championship. Yeah, we have Brady along the ride, but Brady don't play defense.
Right.
If you watch the last Super Bowl we won, it was all defense. Our defense did what they could to keep them out of the end zone.
Yeah.
Put us in a position to be successful on offense. Brady just knew how to capitalize, and I think Baker can do the same thing. I really believe Baker could be a guy, if we get into the tournament, you get in the playoff run, no matter if we're away or we're home, I think he can make a strong run. I mean, he's obviously earned the team's respect. Everybody wants to play around him. And look at Mike. I mean, Mike came back. Not that Mike was ever going to leave for the most part, but at the same time, he showed interesting, he believes in Baker and Baker believes in him. So as far as, Chris Godwin goes, he's a patient guy, just like Mike. They're compatible. See, they always talk about who's the best two receiver duo, but to me is who's the more what's the better term? Who's the more deserving?
Complementary. Who's complementary to each other? They're both complementary to each other when Godwin is playing in his natural position, which is the slot, which he didn't play last year. So you could see in that second half of the year when you had that criticism from Godwin's wife, and it was a good thing. A lot of fans, didn't like it. It was actually a good thing for this team because why? It was probably from Chris Godwin. Maybe it wasn't. But when they focused on that offense and they put Godwin in his natural position, what happened with that offense? How much did it take off? How better was Baker Mayfield in that passing game? Do you remember the Green Bay game? I mean, that's what you have to look forward to. A lot of people forget that and they go, well, Godwin's coming off the injury and his body is beaten up, but he does so much for you on this team. Not only, catching the ball consistently, running great routes, but blocking, being physical, being that, a physical point of attack on the outside, doing the things in that slot to free up the running game there. So that's also important, and it can't be overlooked. And that's one of the things that these wide receivers, we don't know yet. We don't know what McMillan can do until he gets into the league and straps it up. We don't know what Trey Palmer, he's very inconsistent. He's got the speed, right? But there's a reason why he's drafted in the 6th round in the first place. There's a reason why you saw him drop some passes last year that he should have, secured. You want to see more of that. So before everybody's ready to turn the page on the new toy there, McMillan and Palmer, Godwin's still pretty damn good. You just got to put him in that position, in his natural position, to be successful.
I agree. I mean, plus you got a guy, Liam Cohen, who has learned from, one of the best offensive minds.
Hello? What did he do with Cooper Kupp? I mean, is anybody, you think anybody besides Mike Evans is like chopping at the bit to get on the field into this new offense right now? Besides Chris Godwin, with what Cooper Kupp did to the Bucs a couple years ago, how he's killed the Bucs, how he's killed the league, how he was MVP of the league. I mean, just imagine if you can get, prime Mike Evans, because Mike Evans is still playing in his prime, but you get Chris Godwin in that same type of offense where he's that Cooper Kupp type of weapon. I'm willing to pay for that, and I'm willing to see what happens until, instead of just turning the page. So I think a lot of Bucs fans should be excited about, that aspect of Cohen's new offense, what he did with those wide receivers, especially a Kupp, who, listen, a lot of Bucs fans still have nightmares about Cooper Kupp and 41 yards there in the NFC divisional game at Raymond James Stadium with the blitz. I mean, just imagine you're bringing that offense here to Tampa Bay. It's pretty good.
No, agreed. I agree 100%. I mean, I think Godwin's going to definitely show out and get back on track in his natural position. But as far as McMillan, I'm excited for that kid. I think he's going to be great in this offense, and Trey Palmer, who's already had 1 year under his belt in the NFL, to help benefit that. You can never have enough receivers in the core. You can never have enough receivers.
Exactly.
You can never have enough players in each position. That's why I'm glad they took a McMillan. I was never, ever, not sold on Trey Palmer. I think Palmer's going to be fine in the offense. But you get another guy in there who I think was very productive. I guess he got injured during the early part of the season. And that's why I guess he kind of fell a little bit. But then he came back and recovered, and he performed in the bigger games. So why not add more firepower to it? You give Liam Cohen the weapons he needs to create this offense that I think can be really great. That could be at top 10, in my opinion.
Correct. You're absolutely correct about that. Jeremy, we got to run, man. Use that second call. Appreciate you. We'll see you on Wednesday night for the schedule reveal. Okay, my friend? Always welcome.
I can't wait. That's going to be exciting, man. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go! All right, let's get out to my long-lost caller friend here, Mr. Ed. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Where have you been?
Oh, I just been working my butt off, my man.
Yeah? How's that going for you, buddy?
Oh, it's going great.
Everybody's working all the time. I love that. This is the reason why we all work together, because we're always working, right? I'm working.
Right.
Jeremy's working, you're working.
What
but
are you doing now besides the sports web?
I do sales during the day. They brought me back to the office. I can't sit here. Right. I can't sit here in my house, in my personal office, and, tweet out things or post things on Facebook. I can't do that anymore. I have to be at the office. And then furthermore, the signal absolutely sucks. So when there's something that breaks and I want to post it, I can't necessarily post it right away because I can't get a friggin' signal. How about you, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm in sales too. I didn't know you were in sales. That's
great. Man. I sell life and Medicare supplement insurance.
I thought about getting into that. I went to school to get a loan officer.
Yeah, think about it. Just don't do it.
But I'm doing all right with this mortgage gig going on right now.
Where is that? Is it on the other coast by chance?
Yeah, it's on the other coast. That's part of the reason why I moved out here.
Okay, good.
So,
man.
But you all right?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I want to know your thoughts on this Antoine Winfield Jr. New contract.
I've only been this excited about a season coming up when they acquired Tom Brady. I'm pretty excited about it.
Wow. That excited. So you think they have an opportunity to do a lot more than what they did last year? Go ahead.
I think they're going to get to the NFC Championship game.
Wow. Okay.
I think they're that kind of team right now. If the division was going to be a little bit tougher, I think the only team we're really going to have to worry about is Atlanta.
Okay.
Because they have a tremendous amount of talent. I think the Saints are going to slide a little bit because it looks like they lost some of their talent.
Sure.
So yeah, I think looking at the division, I don't see any reason why they can't get to the playoffs, get to the NFC Championship game.
I think it's certainly possible if everything works out. They've got some question marks on this defense. They're getting younger there. Of course, you got guys that have to step up in their second year, and a Yaya Diaby, of course, a Kalijah Kancey. You get rid of a Shaq Barrett. You draft a Chris Braswell there, so you definitely may be a part of these plans. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, big year for him. Vita Vea slimming down. You get Jordan Whitehead back. You move on from Devin White. I mean, lots of changes on this defense, but you still have Levante David, right? You still have the Antoine Winfield Jr. there. I'm excited about Jordan Whitehead. I don't think he gets talked about.
Back.
Right. I don't think he gets talked about enough. I think that's an under-the-radar move that definitely solidifies that back end. That back end is that much better without the just a god awfulness, if you will, of Ryan Neal.
Ryan Neal was terrible.
Not good at all. And then offensively, you basically bring everybody back, and Baker Mayfield with, getting him with a new contract. You got Mike Evans re-signing. That's always a great thing. You add to that with McMillan and Bucky Irving. So, and the offensive line, I think I'm most excited about that. I agree with you. I'm definitely excited about, what this season could be because of, some of the things we talked about, right? You got to improve the offensive line. It certainly seems like they've done that until, the toe hits leather, if you will. You won't know. But, the potential is there with that offensive line being improved just with, a couple of draft picks there. So I definitely agree with you. I think, the excitement of Tom Brady, that's a tough comparison because at the time when you get Tom Brady, you get Gronkowski. And I'm thinking about it the other night because I'm watching the roast. For me, it was Super Bowl or bust. I don't know if I'm ready to say that with this team, but there's definitely some exciting components to it.
So, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, man. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So, I want to know who do you think's they're gonna put in that middle linebacker spot to replace?
I think it's KJ Britt. I think it's the guy who started last year. Yeah, I think it's him. I think it's Britt. He's earned it. Todd Bowles has talked about it. He may not be, as athletically gifted as White, sideline to sideline, but and just paraphrasing what Bowles said, he understands the system. He understands his place. He knows how to tackle. That defense improved with him being the starting linebacker. How many years have we talked about White and, the blown coverages or, the injury situation or just lack of effort? How many times has White been out of position? You didn't see a lot of that with Britt. Now, I'm not saying that can't happen, and maybe he's not your future. Maybe there's somebody else on this team that is, but I think Britt is definitely going to get the start. He's going to get every opportunity to be the starting middle linebacker of this team. Make no mistake about it.
I like Britt. I agree with you. He doesn't have the physical talent that, you really need in a middle linebacker, but he does give you a lot of effort, and he's very knowledgeable. I like Britt. I'm not sure the team is sold on him yet because they did bench Devin White and then went back to him. So I'm not really sure if the team is sold on Britt.
I think they were trying to mix it around, and I think it's also about Todd Bowles and White's relationship, right? Because Todd Bowles thought highly of him, and that was probably a mistake by that coaching staff. They should have benched him before, especially if he was injured or they didn't see the lack of effort that was there. They should have benched him before that whole situation, kind of got out of control. But it was a good thing for them to move with Britt. I still think Britt is going to get the opportunity to start, but they do have some, players on this team. Savasi Dennis is, a young guy. Kalen DeLoach is on this team from FSU. You've heard a lot about him, so you don't know what to expect. Russell, when he was given the opportunity, he played pretty well. So they have, some players on this team. Are they just players, or are they guys that are going to come in and contribute right away and start for this team? Britt showed that. Russell showed that in limited time. We'll see about the others.
So I didn't really follow. I wasn't able to really follow the draft. I had to work that day. So did they draft the tight end?
They did in the 7th round by the name of Devin Culp. Fast guy, about 4.47 on the 40. They're excited about him. I think they're excited. I think they're excited about all their players, right? What are they supposed to say? They're not excited, but you have to be excited about a guy who can run a 4.47. That's wide receiver speed as a tight end. Yeah. So they're looking for, some explosive nature there from some players. You get a Bucky Irving in the 4th round there, running back out of Oregon. You get Chris Braswell from Alabama, a young edge rusher who, when given the opportunity to Alabama under Nick Saban, he was highly productive. You got a Graham Barton who could be the best center in this draft. You got a Tyke Smith who most likely is going to be your nickel player out of Georgia. And you look at some of the players, and it can't be overstated, right? It's what Jason Light and, how you build your team, the DNA of it. You go after players from big-time programs under great coaches. Why? Because they're ready to go. They're guys that are ready to go. Like Graham Barton comes from Duke.
SEC guy, yeah.
ACC guy. You go with Braswell from SEC. You got Tyke Smith from Georgia. that's a good. McMillan from Washington. How good was that team? They're really good. They were in the national championship game versus Michigan. So it's a good thing for them to continue. Oregon, another program. How many players from those big-time programs last year that were productive from those big, high-powered programs, well-coached, very productive? Those are the type of players that you build your team around, right? Those are the type of guys. You don't want to get guys from, you can get some guys from small schools, but you don't want to get a guy that, doesn't show anything on tape or is not productive. Yeah, you ran a 4.5 or a 4.4 at the combine. What's that mean? What did you do on tape? What do you do in those crucial situations against top competition in college football? If you didn't do squat, that's the reason why you don't draft him. And we know that previous Bucs teams in the past have been guilty of going for guys with more potential instead of production. This administration is all about production, all about character, and it shows.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. They're putting a winning product on the field.
They are. They're going to continue to do that. And again, I think it's so funny. I think it's so funny how everybody thought in the national media and even local media guilty of it. Well, Tom Brady's gone. You got no chance to be competitive. First, this division isn't good. But second, the way you built this team with Baker Mayfield and still having the core here, it was impressive. And then getting all those undrafted free agents to be contributors and guys like, 3rd round pick from Yaya Diaby, when he was able to start, you saw the flashes of brilliance. You saw Kalijah Kancey. So impressive by what they've done the last couple of years, even without Brady. And everybody thinking, they're done without Brady. No, not so fast, my friend. A guy like Lee Corso used to say that all the time on ESPN. Not so fast, my friend. This team is still going to be competitive, and they most likely will win the division, and they're going to go a little bit further than some people think. I really believe that. I do.
I believe that they are going to be a 10-win team this year.
I like
without
it.
a doubt.
I like it. I thought there would be a 10-win team last year. I think they could be 10, 11. Definitely a possibility. But, that schedule, we'll see. It's going to be revealed on Wednesday night. So definitely tune into that. We'll see who they play, when they play, if they're going to play on prime time. We got you covered here on The Evolution. Anything else, Ed?
And here's the thing. The NFL hates us when it comes to scheduling. They love to give us the hardest schedules.
Well, we shall see, because everybody said, well, it's a hard schedule. And it turns out maybe it's not necessarily that hard because you have injuries that determine it. And just because a team is good the year before doesn't necessarily mean that's going to carry over to the next year. We've seen that also happen. And that includes the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you got to be confident in what they've been able to do this offseason and in the draft process. Ed, thanks a lot for the call. Use that second call. Yeah, man, absolutely. Don't be a stranger. Always welcome here, no matter if you're working hard or not. Those are the priorities. But don't forget about us here on The Evolution. We won't forget about you. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. All right, I'm going to go back to the comments unless we have phone calls. We're going to read these comments. We're going to get to some other items here for the night, and then we'll wrap it up. And we'll be back on Wednesday night, unless there is something that breaks here in the next day or so on Tuesday. All right, let's see here. Who is AWJ you speak of? Antoine Winfield Jr. Stop being a jackass. Yes, thank you. Micah says, will Bucky bump out Edmonds? I think it's a great question. I think it's going to be talked about because Edmonds is a veteran. But the reason why you get Bucky in the first place in the fourth round, what? Because he does have some plays there. He can, make some guys miss. And that's what you want. You want to back up. So why do you draft him in the first place? To upgrade that position. So it's definitely a possibility. What is he going to be able to do in camp? What is he going to be able to do in those game time situations? I know preseason doesn't matter, but it kind of does matter. So we'll see. I think it's certainly a possibility. Winfield signing is huge. Absolutely great stuff there. Shooter and Stash.
Oh, yeah.
I missed some comments here. Somebody said, he also said Shooter and Stash. This stardom has really gone to Peter's head. Listen, the reason why I have that 5-minute timer and it goes like 6 or 7, I'm trying to share it to everybody's Facebook page. Like, I'm trying to share the show. Like, if you guys help me out with sharing it, I won't have that long ass intro. But I'll tell you right now, there's people in the podcast world that have a long intro because they're trying to share it. They're trying to, but it's worth the wait, right, Shooter and Stash? It's worth the wait at the end of the day, is it not? Okay. All right. So greetings from Honduras. I don't know if I read that. 2 giant goop balls. Enough time to go to the bathroom and crack open a beer. Okay, let's see here. 2 giant goop balls again. Way to reset the safety market by a lot. Absolutely. Micah says, is Chris Braswell going to fill Devin White's shoes? I don't necessarily think they play the same position. One played middle linebacker. I get it. You used him on the blitz a lot, but Braswell is going to be more of an edge rusher. I think that's where the Bucs are going to go. I think Britt is the guy or somebody else on this team, but most likely Britt at that middle linebacker situation. KR says, facts. Thank you, Micah. Again, will Baker be the MVP next year? We'll see. He's got every opportunity. I mean, if you want to pick a dark horse out there, because it's easy to pick, the favorites. People will say Kirk Cousins because he's got the new contract from the Falcons. Can he stay healthy? I don't know. Patrick Mahomes, that's one. Lamar Jackson, that's another. Maybe a Brock Purdy. But what about a Baker Mayfield being in that MVP conversation? Is it so far-fetched where he's going to be comfortable in this offense because he's played under Liam Cohen before? When you have Mike Evans and you have Chris Godwin and you have Cade Otton and you have an improved offensive line, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Let's go out to this guy right here, the tribal troll.
Acknowledge me.
Mr. Roger Shue, using your second call. What's on your mind, boss?
All right. The schedule reveal. I'm going to say the Buccaneers have one primetime game.
Okay. One
They're
primetime
the best
game.
team in the worst division in football.
So they got one primetime game. I'm going to bet you lunch that they have 2 primetime games. How about that?
Deal.
All right. Deal is that the Bucs have 2 primetime games or more. You say the under with 1. You know you're going to lose this, right, Roger Shue?
No, I don't.
All right. I'm gonna cut this up, and then when
Cut
I play it, all right, I
Post
play
it.
it back. You better come
Play
on
it.
here. You better get me lunch.
I will definitely. Wednesday night,
Hungry
we will
Howie's
find out.
Pizza. You know what? You need to go steak. Let's go steak. Let's go something like from Outback.
Let's go Hungry Howie's, your favorite bacon ranch, whatever the hell
you gotta
you
get it right. If you're gonna put out the bet, it's gotta be Hungry Howie's Pizza, butter cheese crust with
Which is
bacon
total
and
crap.
pepperoni. You're out of your mind. And by the way, Hungry Howie's, don't listen to this idiot. He has
The worst pizza in the state of Florida.
You're an elitist Chicago guy that thinks everything from
That's
Chicago
right.
is the best.
It is.
Whatever. Go ahead.
That's it, man. I think they're going to have one primetime game. The Chicago Bears will be the premier primetime game team this year due to Caleb Williams.
So they have more than 2 primetime games.
We're going to have probably 5 or 6.
5 or 6 primetime games for the
Yes,
Chicago
because
Bears.
of Caleb Williams.
Wow, bold prediction right there. You still have not given me
Take it to the bank.
How many wins this year is a realistic projection for the Bears with Caleb Williams? How many wins?
Minimum of 10.
All right, minimum 10. I like that. That's realistic. You usually say 11, 12, 13, and all the webheads here would kill you for that prediction. So
I'm
that's
saying
realistic.
10, and
10.
we win the NFC North.
Okay, 10 in the NFC North over the darling right now in the NFL and by most national media pundits.
The Detroit Lions?
Yes.
Oh, shit. They're garbage.
All right, man.
It's like Jordan Love in a bump.
They just
Green
re-signed.
Bay sucks.
They just re-signed Jared Goff, so you're not impressed by
I don't care.
$50 million a
Jared
year.
Goff is crap compared to Caleb Williams.
I don't know if he's crap. Caleb Williams hasn't done anything at
The
this
Chicago
point.
Bears quarterback coach said Caleb Williams is light years ahead of where he should be.
You have not seen one snap from Mr. Williams, and you're
Oh,
already
yes, I have.
anointing him. You're already anointing him
yes, I
the
have.
next coming.
I saw clips from his entire rookie camp.
That doesn't mean anything.
What do you mean doesn't mean
It
anything?
doesn't mean anything until the bullets fly, until it's real, until it's for real at this point, until toe meets leather, as the great Gene Deckerhoff would say.
Oh, Gene Deckerhoff. I loved him for FSU. Is he still doing the Bucs broadcast or
Of
no?
course he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's what, 97 years old?
Will you shut up and be quiet?
I love Gene Deckerhoff. He's like my favorite.
97 years old. Disrespectful. If Gene's listening, don't listen to
love
this guy.
Gene Deckerhoff.
He knows nothing about pizza and knows nothing about age at all. Nothing.
I have loved Gene Deckerhoff since I was freaking 15 years
And
old.
yet you called him 97 years old. What are you going
He
with?
is.
This? Oh, you're out of your mind. All right, Roger, thanks a lot for nothing. Appreciate it as always.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So great, Micah. Thanks a lot for tuning in as always. 2 giant goofballs. Peter, why do your words not match your mouth movement? Beginning to wonder if he's a puppet. I have no idea. I think that's the video. We have to fix that. Hopefully I'm matching up tonight. Am I matching up tonight? I could see it myself. Where does the hand and arm go? Will you stop? Tim says, good evening, Peter. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to KR. Jared Goff, holy overpay. Shaking my head. Yeah, to break this down, Joe Burrow, $55 million. Jared Goff, $53 million.
Shitter!
I'm happy for the Lions. It looks like they found their quarterback of the future and of the present at this point. So we'll see if that works out. I was surprised by that, but then again, I wasn't. It's the Lions. Made him the highest franchise. Think about that. Over Barry Sanders, I get it. Markets don't match up. Calvin Johnson, that is the highest paid player in franchise history. Jared Goff, who was left for dead just a couple of years ago. After everybody was saying Matt Stafford won the Super Bowl, what did the Lions get in return? Pretty good quarterback so far with Goff. You overpay at quarterback, you don't at safety. I don't think they overpaid for a safety. I'm sorry. I don't think that's the market. And again, a lot of people will say, well, you overpay for a quarterback. Not necessarily. for a safety that did what he did for this team last year, who's the best safety in the league, I don't think he overpaid. I think there will be teams out there, if he hit the free agent market, that would have definitely overpaid. Like it would have been over $25 million. I'm not even joking at this point. Like there are bad teams that will overpay. And that's where it comes down to. Winfield Jr. wants to be a part of this organization. Why? Because they take care of their own. Because they are a good organization. Right? All right, so let's go back out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Jeremy.
What's going on, Jeremy?
Hey, I couldn't help over here this Bears fan. It's kind of like with me, head scratcher, saying, 5 primetime games. Why is that? Who have you really added? Yeah, you got Caleb Williams, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You brought in Keenan Allen, blah, 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 who's not even that great. I remember a few years ago, he tried to put himself over Mike Evans, and he's a better receiver than Mike, and we already know how that turned out. But anyway, I like how you stood up, with the primetime games. I think we'll at least get 2 or 3 at most. And won't be no one game. I promise you that. My best guess will be maybe the Chiefs will get a primetime game in Kansas City for sure. And then don't be surprised if we get Philadelphia again on a primetime game.
Well, that'd be a rematch. I mean, that's certainly a rematch there, and there's some intrigue. And, the NFL is all about storylines, right? I mean, we knew that today that they're all about storylines with revealing that Kansas City and Baltimore are going to face off.
Well, also the Bucs posted something about, playing Philly again. So that's a hint that it could be another primetime game. They know the schedule. You and I both know the Bucs know the schedule. But they're going to do right by the NFL and not say anything until Wednesday. Don't be surprised if there's going to be leaks tomorrow and Wednesday until the schedule's officially released, on my opinion. But that's that Bears fan guy. Bro, you're really crazy if you really think you're going to – I don't know what Kool-Aid he's drinking.
I love the tribal troll. He's always talking about how great the Bears are, but there's some genuine hype and excitement around Caleb Williams, and I get it. They have done a good job when it comes to putting weapons around him with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. You just don't know what the transition process is going to be for a rookie quarterback. You just don't. I mean, everybody assumes it's going to be C.J. Stroud. It may not be. It may be, Zach Wilson. And maybe, but I think he's way too talented than Zach Wilson. Okay, let's not be ridiculous. But the point is, rookie quarterbacks don't come into the league and do what C.J. Stroud. They usually do what Bryce Young did for the Carolina Panthers. That's what you usually expect.
Well, let's not forget, they got a new offensive coordinator once again. I'm not trying to put down Shane Waldron. I think he's had some success.
Sure.
But the Bears are the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they will improve. They won't be the one overall pick again.
Right.
I think they'll finish maybe 3rd. I think they'll show some improvement, winning maybe at 500 at best. That's my best guess.
Okay.
When he's saying they're going to win the division, all that, no. Pump the brakes, my man. Pump the brakes. You still got to go through Detroit, who is the heavy dog right now. And then you got Minnesota, who also reloaded that no one talks about. Yeah, J.J. McCarthy is a big question mark with Sam Darnold at the helm, but they still got Jetta. Still lethal. You can't leave them out of it. And the Packers, who made to the divisional round, you can't leave them out.
Nope.
I understand you want to hype your team up, because you got the Caleb Williams, you got Roman Dunze, who I think are a good combination.
Didn't even talk about him. Yeah, he's on the team too.
Well, Roman Dunze, I think it's going to be the best receiver on that roster.
Wow.
No disrespect to DJ Moore. I think he's a baller. But Keenan Allen, I just don't see the greatness in him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to go and put him out there saying, yeah, he has some success, but the man is injury prone. He's not going to be a 17-game guy that these Bears fans are that guy saying, hyping up his Bears. I mean, the Bears are not going to be the worst team in football. That I'll tell you. They will not. But then when the division, it's laughable to me because you got the Lions who I think who totally rebooted their team. I think they're going to be the top dogs in that division.
Retooled, definitely, yes. Mm-hmm.
Retooled. And then you got Green Bay, who I think is not a team to overlook. And I wouldn't even look Minnesota. If you look at Minnesota, they were a team that were in the playoffs about 2 years ago with
Sure.
13 wins. You know
Sure.
what I mean? You can't overlook that. So back to that Bears guy. He's so laughable. They'll get 3. I'll give them 3 primetime games.
3 primetime games. So you go with the under. He says 5 or 6. You like the bet there with me betting Hungry Howie's Pizza, well, butter, cheese crust, bacon, and pepperoni on the Bucs having more than 1 primetime game, right?
Easily.
Okay.
We're gonna at least get 2 or 3.
Okay.
I don't know what that guy is on or anything. I mean, I like to troll whatever you want to call him. But I can help I call in and be like, no, let me step in here and speak, because that just bothers me so bad. I think the Cowboys will have more primetime games than the Bears. And the Cowboys, if you want to get real about that, because you know how popular they really are.
Sure.
You know, but the Bears, it's laughable. 5 primetime games. Get the F out of here with that noise.
All right.
I'll give them 3.
3.
Just because they're the Bears, and they're probably get all the hype with Caleb Williams. But my thing is, Bucs will get 3, Bears will get 3. Done deal.
Okay. All right. Good stuff, man. And again, these could be the matchups, and this is according to Buccaneers.com. Buccaneers at Lions, Buccaneers and 49ers. And the other matchup here, let me go ahead and look through my notes. There was a third matchup. Oh, there it is right there. Got a new printer. Buccaneers and Falcons, of course. So those could be your games that you're talking about. And then also, once again, the Kansas City Chiefs. Jeremy, thanks a lot for the 2 calls tonight. We'll see you on Wednesday on the Evolution. All right, my friend?
I will say one more thing before I hang up.
Yeah, man.
I will predict Lions will be the first game we play. I think we'll get the Lions first week 1 on the road. Because the NFL doesn't like us, that's fine. We'll go to Lions and we'll beat them in the house week 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But have a good night, brother.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
again for the entertainment.
Absolutely, man. Always
yeah.
appreciate it. Appreciate the calls and, of course, the interaction. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Instagram Live. Zach Mitchell, big-time Lightning fan, big-time Bucs fan, Rays fan. Pete, love the show, brother. Love you, brother. Thank you very much. Trying to build on Instagram Live. So if you like what I'm putting out there, go ahead and like and subscribe. I believe it's pblake1003, just like my Twitter X account there. Go like and subscribe because we're live there. Also, let's see here. Actually, let's see. 2 giant goop balls. Say it now, but if you get cap strapped for cash, yeah, well, the Bucs were already cap strapped, right? $75-80 million cap hit that they had to take from the Tom Brady situation, and turned out just fine. They made the playoffs any way it goes. Now you're in a better situation, so you're able to spend money. So I don't necessarily think, a lot of Bucs fans should be concerned about cap situations with the way, contracts have been, put out there and structured, if you will. I don't think a lot of Bucs fans are concerned, and they shouldn't be concerned. I don't see the deal hurting the Bucs. I don't either. Cole, CSB, brother, what's shaking, Peter? How about them Bucs, baby? Absolutely.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Werfs is next. I agree with you. I think that's definitely on their docket. Christopher Cole says congratulations to AWJ, and now it's Werfs is next. Werfs is next. Christopher Cole again. We read that comment. I'm right. Every time I see or hear Roger Shue, I just remember when he was saying that the Bears were going to be an elite team last year. You have your receipts ready.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. You were correct. Chicken strips always taste better. I'm Tampa. Yeah, they didn't taste that good. I don't know what it was. It just didn't taste good for me. Somebody was asking, did you have ketchup on it? No. I had barbecue sauce and ranch. Still wasn't good. Wish I would have gotten a hot dog, honestly. I'm right. Laugh out loud sounds like last year again. I'm right. Jason Light equals the most underrated GM in the league. Completely agree with that. That's a great comment.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Tampa 2. Yo, what's up, Peter Blake? What's up, buddy? How you doing? Let's go out to Roger Shue. Ryan Poles won the draft. Does that mean that transitions over to the NFL football season? We shall see. All right, Tampa 2 following. I appreciate that. As always, Tampa 2.
Yeah.
Big fan of what you do. I know you're a big fan of what I do. Love to have you on the Evolution sometime. Anytime you want to call in or just bring something to the show, always welcome. Bucs community, Bucs podcast, Bucs shows, always welcome here on the Evolution. You know that. MH, can't overpay if it's not your money. Yeah, exactly. You can't overpay. Let's see here. I'm trying to, let's see. Got a text message here. I'm going to read this out loud. Jeff Jackson, thanks a lot. Peter, I'm so fired up for the season. And this is from a Lions fan. This is the kind of inbox messages I get, and I'm okay with that. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. You can inbox me too if you want to. Just try not to do it at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Even though I'm up, I'm really not. I'm probably sleeping or something. Even though it shows I am up. We will surprise a lot of people, but the ones who know the game, it won't be a surprise. Last thing, and remember, you heard it from me. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Bucky Irving. This guy is really good. White and Bucky, great 1-2 punch. Have a nice night. Actually, Jeff is not a Lions fan, I don't think. I think he's a Bucs fan. And again, this is what he says. I'm so fired up for the season. I think we will surprise a lot of people, but the ones who know the game, it won't be a surprise. Not on this show. He watches this show. Love you, Jeff. Last thing I remember, you heard it from me, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Bucky Irving. This guy is really good. White and Bucky, great 1-2 punch. Have a nice night. Appreciate you. Mike says, I'll read this comment in a moment, but MH, agree with you on that. Darlene Emmanuel, Eagles fan, but she still tunes in here to the Evolution for a Bucs show. Just dropping to say, hey, keep up the good work. Appreciate you. Always love when women football fans tune in. That's always a boost for the show. We need more women. I love the guys out there, but we need more women out there that are football fans. I always tell you my story. The reason why I was sent here is to corrupt every woman into being a sports fan and a football fan. I'm not going to stop from saying that. I'm going to continue to say that. I'm going to continue to preach that here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Let's go out to Ben Cornett. I'm just going to say it. I thought Antoine Winfield Jr. was the best overall player on the Bucs last year. This contract was well-deserved. Winfield's play from 2023 definitely won the Bucs a few games of them. I mean, who could forget, the first game of the season versus the Minnesota Vikings? Who could forget the fumbles that he created against the Saints, or the fumbles that he created against the Atlanta Falcons, keeping him in that game where it looks like Desmond Ridder, who had no business being a starting quarterback in the National Football League, and now he's not. Winfield Jr. strips him, causes a fumble, and gives the Bucs new life there. Absolutely great stuff as always, Ben.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Recon Scout. Blue Jays beat the Orioles. That's always a good thing. Recon again. Ketchup on the chicken strips, Peter. No. Barbecue sauce and ranch. A little honey mustard, if you will. Thanks a lot for asking. I love this. We're talking food. We're talking life. We're talking work. We're talking Bucs football. We're talking Rays. They win tonight. That was good. 5-3 over the stinking Boston Red Sox. That's always a great thing. It feels like it should be for 2 after they win. So we'll see what they do tomorrow night here and the upcoming series, as they have 3 more. And then they face the struggling, which with all the talent that the Toronto Blue Jays have every year, how can they be struggling? Is that managing? Is that what is going on? But the Rays may be catching them at the right time, and the Rays, 6-3 that last homestand, not too bad at all. You had ketchup on the chicken strips. I mean, is it acceptable to eat ketchup on chicken with chicken strips? I mean, I mostly eat barbecue sauce, honey mustard, ranch, maybe some blue cheese. Is it acceptable to do ketchup? I'll open with the phone lines if you want, because we always talk about hot dogs and ketchup. Let's talk about chicken strips and ketchup. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Recon Scout, $170 million guaranteed for Jared Goff. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. Mr. Williams, good job, 31. Tampa Bay for life, 813. Appreciate you, Mr. Williams. Let's go on to JC Allen here. I have the same hat, L. Bushman, but TPA, laugh out loud. Thanks a lot, JC, for your time there, doing great things with his Twitter and, of course, Sports Illustrated. Go and follow him. This sick podcast. He's got players on there, just doing some major things. And, again, I'm just so proud that he started out here on the Evolution. And Rays have no fan base. Everyone here is from up north. They're loyal to their team. And you get this. And you get this.
Oh my God, who the hell
You
cares?
see, that's why you're the tribal troll on this show. That's what we do to tribal trolls. Pete, you're buying me lunch tomorrow to pay your bets. All right. Bring back Franco. No. Roger, tribal troll. Yes, you are the tribal
Acknowledge me.
Roger says Cubs lose 2-0 to the Braves. All right. Cubs manager Craig Counsell ejected and then lost to the Braves. Wow. I've got something big planned for Wednesday night show. You all have to wait and see. Looking forward to that. You have Spectrum Internet trash. I don't know what's going on with the internet tonight, but thanks a lot for being patient. We're going to multiple platforms. Maybe we need to cut back on some of these platforms. I don't think so, but we'll see. It should be working right now. If it's not, let me know, as we have lots of people right now watching on Twitter, on YouTube, and of course on Facebook. Let's go out to Mr. Ed here. Mr. Ed Gross, using your second call. Welcome back to the Evolution. What's on your mind?
So one of your web heads who's doing comments piqued my interest about the Rays.
Yeah.
I would love to be a Rays fan. The problem with the Rays is now that they might win me back over because they got new management now. I'm keeping a close eye on what's going on. But in the past, or not just new management, but new ownership too.
Well, they're not going to have, they have the same ownership. They're trying to get a new stadium now. We'll see. It remains to be seen if they have new ownership. They have the same
I thought they were
ownership.
up for sale.
No, they're not up for sale. I think there's a lot of fans that would wish they would be up for sale because maybe if there was we won't go down that road again. I'm not going to do that.
Well, my problem with them has been they would get good players, pay them for a few years. I mean, some really exciting players at some point, and then they would just let them go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of hard to be a fan of a team that's going to do that to you because it just breaks your heart. You go out and buy all their paraphernalia, and then they let them go, and then you got to start over again.
Right.
I mean, with somebody else.
Exactly.
So that's
like every 2-3 years. You might as well put your own name. That's what I did. I got a Rays jersey. I put Blake on the back. There's no way they're going to ever replace Blake because it's my name. It's not of a player, because more than likely the player that you get, like in a Randy Arozarena, Randyland and all this stuff, eventually what you come to realize is as great as he is, and he has had his struggles this year, but he's a fan favorite. Eventually you're not going to be able to pay him, and he'll move on, and you'll have to sell that jersey off or switch it out. And it's disappointing to a lot of Rays fans. That's why it's so tough to be a Rays fan, because you get rid of fan favorites every year, and you can't really, it's not like a Buccaneer situation where you have Mike Evans here for 10 years and and you trust the fact that the organization is going to do best by not only him, but also by the fans, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And, they kind of remind me of Culver House, this ownership group. Because the Culver Houses did the same thing.
Yeah, they're just, they save a lot of money, and they say a lot of stupid things. I will say with the Culver Houses, it was really bad, man. It was really bad back then. But yes, it's very frustrating. Well, what was it? 0-14 and 0-26 the first 2 years. Yeah. But even after that, you allow Doug Williams to get out of here because you don't want to pay him the money. You don't want to pay this guy the money. You draft Bo Jack. I mean, there's so many bad decisions of a bad organization now. You look back at it and you laugh because you remember that misery, which is why it's so, and I always tell Bucs fans, just enjoy it right now. Enjoy what's going on. This is a great organization, and they're making the right decisions to sign their own players, to go out there and dip in free agency and get veterans that will help this team, and also in the draft. They're doing it the right way. Unlike the previous regimes that did it before. So you appreciate it that much more, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely I do, because I'm an old-time Bucs fan. I've been a Bucs fan since the beginning.
Of course, we all have, I think.
I've been through they were terrible, really terrible.
Terrible.
Worst franchise I've ever seen ever in professional sports. And now they're like one of the greatest franchises in professional sports.
They are.
Actually, if they win one more Super Bowl, they will really be an elite class in the NFL then.
Well, they're definitely be in that conversation, I think. I think there's a lot of teams out there would like a one Super Bowl, right? The Carolina Panthers would like to be one of those teams. The Atlanta Falcons would like to be one of those teams. The Cincinnati Bengals would like to be one of those teams. The Cleveland freaking Browns would like to be one of those teams. And even, the Saints fans, they always talk trash against the Bucs, but what you can always say to those Saints fans, hey, remember 2020 when that team knocked you out in the divisional round and they went on to win a Super Bowl? Yeah, the Bucs as an organization have 2 Super Bowls more than your one. So that's what you say to a Saints fan.
Exactly. That's what I say to Saints fans.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's exactly. That's what you say to any fan. Any fan that wants to say, well, you like the losingest organization of all time. Oh, guess what? That losingest organization has 2 Super Bowls, and also Tom Brady chose the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, he could have went to the Saints. In fact, there were rumors flying around that he was going to go to the Saints.
Could have went to the Saints, could have went to the Chargers, but he chose the Buccaneers and he came back to the Buccaneers. He unretired and came back. So
exactly. So back to the Rays.
Yes.
Now. Okay, so the stadium is ugly, but I don't really think that's why the fans are not coming. I just think it's back to the story that we were just talking about, that they're not spending a lot of money on players and keeping them around.
Correct.
I think that's just part of the problem.
Correct. We talked to Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News, who we've had on this show, and he told you he dropped season tickets because they got rid of Evan Longoria. Now, from a baseball perspective at the time, it may have been the right decision. I give credit to where credit is due, although Evan had some good years leading Arizona to the World Series last year. Of course, they fell short. But with that being said, from a fan standpoint, it's not a good look. It's not a good look every year to continue to get rid of faces of franchises, even though it may be the correct baseball decision or correct financial decision. At the end of the day, fans have seen too many moves like this happen in this whole decade, if you will, and they get tired of it. And why would you want to go out there and deal with Yankee and Red Sox fans? I saw it on Friday night. It's just it's just a point of it's just the way it is in life here in Tropic, and it's disappointing. But you have New Yorkers down here. You have Bostonians down here. You have fans of other baseball teams that are diehards that won't give up their allegiance. But could you imagine if the Rays did spend just a little bit more money and keep their fan favorites around? They would have those World Series championships. You may have a new stadium by now. And who knows? Maybe you could convince some of those diehard fans to turn over another leaf and be a Rays fan. But you never know, because the Rays will continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. And you know what we call that, my friend? Insanity. What else, Ed?
Did they get a stadium deal?
Well, it's supposedly a stadium deal is going to happen, but until those shovels are in the ground, I say, it's up in the air. We'll see. All the talk is it's going to go in St. Pete. We'll see.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
I hope it's in the Bay Area.
A waterfront stadium.
$2.4 billion is a lot for the city to fork over. And for me, the whole point of emphasis is, Stu and the Rays got to come halfway. And if they're going to get that much money from, the Pinellas County and the city of St. Pete, you better guarantee that you're going to be more in the realm of spending as much money as possible to make your team not only competitive but World Series worthy. That's where I stand on this. Ed, thanks a lot for the call, man. Anything else, my friend?
That basically is it. Have a good night, my friend.
All right, man. Appreciate it. We'll see you on Wednesday night. All right. Don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger at all. Appreciate the 2 calls tonight. Great stuff here. Didn't know what to expect. No Harry tonight, no Ray tonight. We pulled it off, did we not? J.C. Allen of Sports Illustrated, he gave you the Bucs rundown. He gave you the reason why you should be excited about Antoine Winfield Jr. By the way, best safety in the game, period. He got paid like it today. Boom, baby.
Here comes the money.
Lots of money. $45 million guaranteed, and he deserves every penny of it. How proud do you think his father is? Right? Antoine Winfield, pretty good player. I mean, that would be somewhat of an advantage, right? That Antoine Winfield Jr. would take advantage of, right? We've seen him come into the league. We talked about that on this show. That would be, definitely something that you would look upon. We knew that this kid, even from his rookie year, was going to get better and better. And look at the kind of year he had last year for this team. Amazing. He deserves to be paid like a top safety because he is a top safety, no matter what the Pro Bowl says.
This guy sucks.
And then also, how excited are you about this rookie camp? I get it's rookie mini camp. Want to get out there. Our own Leo Haggerty, who will be with us on Wednesday night, breaking down the schedule there. We'll try to get the greatness of the media icon, Mr. TJ Reeves, who was watching tonight. We'll try to get him on from the Buccaneer Radio Network, get his breakdown of the schedule release. We're not going to be live when it happens. I think we'll probably be on about 9 o'clock, the usual time. We'll get your comments. We'll break down some of the matchups. We'll get your thoughts as always. We love that here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. So definitely tune in on Wednesday night. Always a good time. A lot of overreaction. Oh my God, the schedule is like the worst schedule of all time. Like the Bucs are going to win like 3 or 4 games, and it never happens. Like it never happens. Like, and then you look at the easy schedule, like, what's the easy schedule? Maybe not. Maybe the team's a little bit better. It's just, I don't know. You got to weigh it out. Talk about Rome. Yeah, we talked about him. Bucs will only have one primetime game. We got that bet out there. Yamato got caught with an illegal substance on his glove. Uh-oh. Christopher Cole had to change gloves and gave up a 3-run home run. Well, there you go. Paints his nails, he does. Recon scout. Yes, we know all about that. Bears are an elite team in the NFL now. We shall see. Saints are at home week 1, says Mike. Nothing official, but Mike thinks they're at home number 1. Okay. Where's Kennedy and Mallory? I don't know. Those are 2 beautiful women that, we're talking about. Trying to tune in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Trying to corrupt them into being sports fans and football fans and baseball fans. They're already basketball fans. I definitely know Kennedy is. Where you at, Kennedy? Let's go out to Jeremy here. Hot honey chicken strips. That sounds good, although not too hot, because I told you about my acid reflux. That's not always a good thing. Depends on how late I eat it, I guess. Roger Bears are garbage, says Mike. He's up on Roger here. Mama Rhodes, proud of AWJ. That's a wrestling joke. Caleb Williams will have the easiest schedule in the NFL. Okay, we don't know that. We're just throwing that out there. Great stuff as always, Roger. Throwing absolutely nothing out.
This guy sucks.
So, the news of the day, AWJ, Mr. Antoine Winfield Jr., a new contract. Again, 4 years, $85 million, 4 years, 84.1 with $45 million guaranteed. And of course, your Tampa Bay Rays take the first game of the series versus the Boston Red Sox 5-3. Thanks a lot to the guests all tonight. JC Allen of Sports Illustrated. Once again, happy 4-year anniversary on the Sports Web. Truly am proud of your evolution. And then, of course, the Bushman himself, Mr. L. Bushman, Evan L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. Thanks a lot for coming on. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Give to Facebook stars and YouTube chats, especially if you love the content. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. It's growing. 7.4 followers on my personal page, going up to 7.5. The goal is to hit 8. The goal is to hit 10. The goal is to hit 15,000 followers on my personal page. Like I Love St. Pete, 181,000 following there. And again, we'll be live on Wednesday night, giving you the schedule reveal of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and other teams around the league. We'll see you then. 3 things. You know them. You love them. You got to have them. So here it is. Can you handle it? Here it comes. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you on Wednesday night on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Have a good night. Go Rays, go Bucs, and go Lightning. This is the evolution. We got to 18-2. That's not an unreasonable thing. The only thing it does, Super Bowl Sunday ends up on a President's Day weekend, which is a 3-day weekend, which makes Sunday night, and then you have Monday off. Now, that part of it is genius. You know what the worst part about Super Bowl Sunday is? The reality that not only do you have to go to your job, whether you like it or not, but football season's over with. So he's kind of correct on that. Like, you have that day to kind of, sleep off that hangover a little bit. Realize that at that point, there is no more football. That a lot of football fans go into a deep depression because they realize the next day there is no football. At least you have that day to cushion the blow.